back to World Crisis Radio. Webster Tarpley in Washington, D.C. Please check tarpley.net for my commentary on Russia Today, recorded in the afternoon on Thursday, May 6th, in the wake of the 1,000-point abyss gaping under the feet of the finance oligarchs. And that contains, in quite concise form, the essential program of what has to be done. Re-regulate. New deal. New deal. Re-regulate. That's the watchword. What we're seeing is the zombie banks and the hedge fund hyenas attacking human civilization. Specifically, the zombie banks and the hedge fund hyenas are attacking the national state. The national state has been around for about 500 years, a little more in the case of France under Louis XI in the 1470s, 1480s, a little bit more in the case of England under Henry VII, the Earl of Richmond, the guy who got rid of Richard III and instituted a national state. And in both cases, the struggle was between the new monarchies of the Renaissance and the feudal robber barons, the titled oligarchs and aristocrats, with their private armies and their endless program of endless private war. Now, what we see today is the neo-feudal degeneration of the Anglo-American finance oligarchy and its allies around the world. These zombie banks and hedge fund hyenas, of course, only exist because of the insane bailout that was put through by Bush and Henry Paulson with the help of Obama, Pelosi, Reid, and so forth in September, October 2008. And nevertheless, their thank you note to you, the taxpayer, is now a frontal assault on the institutions of the national state. And I'm warning people, I realize the pervasive, ignorant propaganda that the national state is a failed institution. Let me remind everybody that Greece and Portugal and Spain and Italy and Ireland and any of them, and California and New York and the Port Authority are more solvent, they are more viable economically than the dastardly hedge fund hyenas and zombie bankers who are running this attack. Let's get real, people. Those zombie bankers and hedge fund hyenas are bankrupt 6 ways to Sunday. They're wards of the state. They live on formaldehyde administered through the Federal Reserve, which should be stopped. They should be shut down. They are bankrupt. Sheila Bair, Friday afternoon. Do you know where Sheila Bair is? At the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Sheila, your idea that bankruptcy doesn't work for the top money center banks is insane. You are violating the law, Sheila. You're committing misprision of felonies every week. You must shut down J.P. Morgan Chase, Citibank, Bank of America, and the rest of them, most of the top 10 in New York. Wells Fargo probably does not escape. No, it does Bank of New York Mellon, the back office of the bailout. They have got to be shut down because what they're doing is to hide their bankruptcy after they've looted various financial sectors. They now moved on to the world of sovereign debt. That is what is happening. That is the essence of the second wave of this world economic depression. So it's now time for the sovereign states to exercise their powers, inherent powers, implied powers, any kind of powers. Powers of the French Fifth Republic would be nice. U.S. powers also quite extensive. Shut down the speculators. Shut down the oligarchs. We're told that Greece should carve its own flesh in order to regain the confidence of investors. Wait a minute, investors? David Einhorn of Greenlight Capital, Soros of Soros Fund Management, this Morgan of Brigade Capital, the one who took part in the infamous conspiratorial dinner at Moness, Crespi, and Hart on February 8th, as you can read about in that famous article in the Wall Street Journal. You're going to win the confidence of bandits? You're going to win the confidence of pirates and sociopaths? You're going to make an austerity program so that you can regain the confidence of Bonnie and Clyde and John Dillinger and Captain the Blackbeard of the pirate world and on These are bandits. They're pirates. You cannot win their confidence. This is insanity. It's time to strike back against them, shut them down. And again, the watchword, re-regulate, New Deal, New Deal. Otherwise, you can kiss civilization goodbye. And if you want to know what that looks like, go back to the time of the 100 Years' War, just as it's ending, around 1450, 1460, a terrible low point of European civilization. In particular, those British oligarchs who came back defeated by the French in the 100 Years' War, defeated by Joan of Arc, among others. They came back and started a civil war. They were so accustomed to warfare that they started a civil war called the War of the Roses, and then that was actually a blessing in disguise because it killed so many of these feudal oligarchs through their program of private warfare that they essentially were unable to resist then the Earl of Richmond, Henry VII. So today, the equivalent of the private warfare of the feudalists and aristocrats of the 15th century, of the 1400s, the equivalent of that is speculation, hedge funds, derivatives, and all the rest of it. So this is now a world economic depression. What we're seeing also is chaos among the currencies. The dollar, the program of Soros and company to rescue the dollar by driving the euro towards bankruptcy. Of course, this is working so far because of the feckless ineptitude, the cowardice and idiocy of this oligarchical leadership, non-entities in Europe like Van Rompuy, the broken man there who was the nominal president, or Barroso, the Portuguese fascist. This is pathetic. The euro is being demolished. It's down to 126. You can look now for panic flights out of the euro, flight capital out of the euro, into gold, into commodities, into the yen. The yen has been the big winner of the past week. The dollar has also benefited from the collapse of the euro. The pound, by contrast, British oligarchs take note. Your pound is being drawn, sucked into the maelstrom of the euro. You're in the strudel, so to speak. You have been sucked in to this whirlpool of the euro going down. The lamentable Madame Merkel has understood this morning that you have to act fast to save Greece. Now, her idea, of course, is bailouts. We don't need bailouts, but at least Merkel now seems to see when it's too late that the crisis is upon her. But let's go back to the 1,000-point drop. What could do this? Again, it's not a fat finger, it's not Citibank. It could be Citibank. When Citibank says something, remember, they're the U.S. government. You're going to believe that? So we'll be back in a minute with the lowdown on high-frequency trading, program trading, and flash trading as a cause for the 1,000-point gap. And the answer is ban them, outlaw them, forbid them. Back in a minute.